Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel for another mini video. I'm joined with Degger, and today's topic, Degger,
It's Guinness.
is Guinness. Yes, it's not. Today's topic is: shall we or should we put microphones on referees? So the reason I'm doing this with you is because we mentioned on the podcast a few times, numerous times now, that you're a big fan of American sports.
Yes.
We hear this involved a lot in American sports where referees are mic'd up. Even some sports in this country, rugby to be exact, you hear a referee's decision and talk through why he's made that decision. So once again, at the weekend, Newcastle are involved in a very controversial decision, probably one of the worst I've seen against Newcastle. Elliot Anderson's goal is ruled to be offside because of Sean Longstaff's positioning. Do you feel as if now we should be hearing the referees come out and explain why they've made that decision?
Yeah, I think so. I think before I was probably like, I think I've sat here and said, well, does it really matter? Because the decision is what it is anyway. Yeah. So if he tells us or not, I'm not going to be happy. So, but I do feel that you don't necessarily, I'm sure it was an Australian league that I had watched, or maybe you might have shared the clip ages ago, where the entire conversation with VAR was you could hear it all.
I think that I might be wrong. Somebody will correct us. That it was from the Australian A League, and it might have actually been the referee that came over to the Premier League.
Aye,
it was him.
Yes.
Now it was the full game, I believe. I think it was the full game.
It was like radio, mic'd up. Sorry. Now I don't think you need to have all of that,
no,
necessarily. However, because I watch NFL all the time, the decision's made between the group of the officials, and then they'll come and go, right, this is what we've done. Just stand in the middle, bang, mic'd up, the full stadium hears you, and they tell you what you've
done. It's more of a debate sort of thing as to why that decision's being made.
Yes. So and then they'll give you the final line of the decision they've made and why. And then you can understand. Now, of course, it doesn't matter what that ref said on Friday, we're going to be furious.
Yeah.
However, it would still be nice to know how they've come to that decision. Would still be nice.
So if we just look at this one example, obviously we would have touched this on the Always Smiling Faces podcast as well. But looking at the rules and what is described as being offside and a deflection, and obviously the ball comes in and Sean Longstaff, yes, he is in an offside position, but the Forest player makes an attempt to clear that ball. So can you understand at all why a referee has thought that he hasn't intentionally tried to clear that ball?
Yeah, well, and I think that's the most worrying thing about the entire thing is them are thinking he has not tried to play that ball, which everyone on this earth knows he tried to clear the ball.
Because it's clearly not a deflection.
Oh God, no,
far from it.
No. I mean, obviously, probably at the time, I mean, when they were checking for something, I had no idea what they were checking for. And then when of course, you can clearly see Longstaff is ahead of play. I'm not blind, but you think, oh, well, that's fine. He's not. Nothing's happening there. You know what I mean? And as you say, how them have decided that he hasn't tried to play the ball. It's a complete mess. Like it's an absolute mess. And again, if the ref gets it wrong, right? So be it. That's one person. But for a panel of VAR people, that's maybe 2, 3, 4 individuals go, I actually made.
And let's remember, VAR was brought in for clear and obvious errors.
Yeah.
And it's very rare we'll not see VAR used. I think VAR is used for every single decision which is made in regards to critical decisions in a football match. I've never seen a referee go to the monitor for an offside.
I don't know. Maybe not. I can't think of one. I'm not sure. Maybe not. No. Because it's normally just cut and dry, isn't it?
Oh, we're back to a similar situation like we were, if you remember, in the Championship when Matt Ritchie had that penalty, where the referee didn't know the rules. Oh, we're back in this position right now.
Yeah, but maybe all of them didn't know. I think all of them, not just the ref. I think all of them didn't know the rules. And again, what is going on? Because you know what it is? were you a fan of VAR coming in the first place when it was announced?
Yes,
back?
I was.
Yeah, because I was as well.
I welcomed it.
Aye.
I'll put it that way. I wasn't excited for it. I welcomed it. I thought, oh, well, it is what it is.
Aye.
Hopefully it'll change things for the better. And it has in some aspects.
Because I had this mentality of, well, the big teams, won't get all the decisions. Meaning Man United, you know what I mean?
But they still do.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, well, that'll even that out. But it's becoming more and more of a travesty, really. And I cannot understand how you can watch something as obvious as that, and them all agree that, he hasn't played the ball or whatever that decision was. It's just scandalous. Like, it's unbelievable.
I think it is something which is getting brought in, I might be wrong, but the Club World Cup sort of thing where the referees are going to be mic'd up to the point where they're going to have to explain why they made that decisions. Do you think there's any sort of negative which comes with it? Or do you think the league and the FA aren't bringing this in? Any football organisation really is because it will just highlight even more how poor some of these decisions are.
Possibly. I think so, yeah. Because, I mean, can you imagine if that's at home, say, right? And that ref comes up on the mic and he goes, we thought this happened. And it's absolutely categorically not. The abuse that he's going to get could be, could
end careers, really.
It could do. But at the same time, you've got to be able to. That's your job, right? You've signed the line to have that job, and you have that responsibility. Then you've got to be able to own up to it. You know what I mean? And if you believe that that's the right result, and you're following the rules that you should know, it's your job, then you should have the confidence to be able to stand there and say, "This is why I or the VR system or whatever. This is the decision, and this is why." I can't see how you could. And another thing I always find, Maz, I never interviewed after a game either. That did happen before, I think, years ago. Maybe the odd ref would come out to explain stuff. I think that's another thing that annoys fans, is that they can wreck your team's result or your weekend or whatever, and they never get asked about getting it. They just do off in the van and they're away. And I find that a bit unfair. It's the managers that are coming out complaining or having to get interviewed about it. And the refs just get away. And get fined, of course, but the refs just, thanks very much, Tara. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not good enough either, especially when the game, and not in all sport, the communication's it's so much more important than it's ever been. Do you know what I mean? And I do find it annoying how refs just seem to get away with that.
And it's not something new which would have to introduce in regards to technology, because the technology is there. The referees and the officials and the VAR, whoever's in the VAR van these days, it's already there. The setup's there. It just needs to be recorded. And I'm not talking about recording this and playing it through the stadiums. It's never going to happen. I probably wouldn't want that ever to happen. No. But for an experience of somebody sat at home on a sofa or in a pub watching that and trying to get the interaction and the information as to why, I would love to see that.
Right. Okay.
And I can't understand right now, apart from maybe the reason they're not doing it is because, like I said, it will just highlight how bad some of these decisions actually are, and they can't justify that decision.
Yeah, it's as if sometimes they go, might actually sound really biased, some of those things that are going on, because you can't hear it, because some of the decisions that they're making seem so ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Again, and to go back to NFL, you don't see that side of it. So there's one, it's in New York, where them watch every game. It's one VAR that watch every single game that's going on, and you don't hear any of that. All you hear is the ref or the official, he'll say, "This is what's happened," type of thing, But no, I agree. And I think it surely has to come at some point. It has to come at some point.
So if we look at how football's changed over the past, recently, let's look at recently in the technology which is brought in, goal line technology. People didn't think that would ever come in. VAR coming in and monitoring every decision on the field. We never thought that would happen. So is this going to be the next thing?
What you mean in regard to them speaking? Yeah, because it's not exactly it's not a huge change in regards to like technology, as I know what you mean, like inventing goal line technology and bringing in VAR, massive steps. The steps haven't changed. It's just you're just having to be vocal. Now, some refs might not want to do that, mind you. Yeah. Some refs, I'm not confident in speaking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it couldn't be difficult, like, do you know what I mean? But again, to me, it has to be done, because you look at some of the, especially when you're in the ground as well, you're not having the opportunity sometimes to see these replays, and you're just standing waiting, and then they don't give a decision, or they do, or whatever, and you're totally blind.
Like, why? And
then when you see, even on the TV, you're watching what we've seen on Friday, and you still would love to know, what have you seen there to give that decision?
Like, how is your decision, in your opinion, different to the rest of the country?
Yeah.
Like, you 4 officials or 5, however many of these, including VR, how can all of you get that decision right when every single pundit, every single manager, every player, every fan, just anybody that watches that all agrees, apart from you 5?
Yeah.
Like, why explain yourself?
Well, yeah, and you can't, can you?
Exactly.
If the entire planet,
Hence
apart
why
from
I
News
think
5.
there'll always be a pushback of bringing this technology in.
I think the first thing when it was going on for a while, I think I said, hang on, VAR's there for clear and obvious errors. This is not clear and obvious.
Yeah.
Listen, even if he was offside, he wasn't, but if he was, it's still not clear and obvious. It's just not. So to me, it was brought in for clear and obvious errors. And that's what I found quite strange about that. It was as if they were absolutely dying to find something to not award that goal, which it's not about, I'm not saying it's corruption or anything, but it's just frustrating, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's really frustrating.
And also corrupt.
Also corrupt, yeah. But no, I think it has to come. But do you know what it is? Either be it that say the referee doesn't have the confidence to, I don't know how this would work, sorry, but like let's say the referee doesn't want to be the person that's going to stand there and go, the goal hasn't been given because of X, Y, Z. Maybe it might have to be the person in the VAR.
Well, the referee's already having that decision, that conversation anyway with VAR. So when he goes over the monitor to check it, you can see him finger on the ear and having a conversation whilst he's watching the video, where the people and the representatives in the VAR studio will be talking them through them. So it's already happening.
And to be fair, actually, normally the reason why the ref goes over there, it's not a decision
it's VAR highlighting something.
He has not seen or has given in correctly. So really he's coming back to own his own mistake.
Yeah.
The reason why, you know what I mean? So it's not his decision, it's
basically VAR saying, say if you're the referee going, oh, Decker, appreciate you made this decision, but we think you should go and have another look at it because we've got a different opinion of what you've just made there.
Yeah. And
that's not saying they're right. That's just saying it's a conflict of opinion on there.
Yeah. And in fairness as well, normally it'll be we've had 10 angles and you've had one in the moment, and this is what we've seen. Yeah. And he simply walks back and goes, not hands up, it's not, but like, you know, and I just think it would help everything. I really do. There's still going to be moments where a decision will be made and you'll still not agree, no matter what they say.
Of course.
But I think the context of perhaps even rules, you know, like the ruling is, I'm not saying it's not really a Bible, but I'm not saying it was a chapter 7, verse 1. But
there's a law and there's a football law, and everything has bullet points underneath it.
And if they say that it is in the book, that's what's been confirmed, decision given X, you go, to just take it.
Yeah.
Because some people in the ground won't know that rule. And you'll still be there all game getting riled about it. Do you know what I mean? So I think it has to happen. And it's quite surprising really when it's been tested in not just other sports, but our sport. It hasn't been brought up, even for a trial, maybe. I don't know, but it feels like it has to go.
I think it'll come in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think so. I just hope we don't get any more bad ones on our side before it does. Because that Friday was...
Yeah, it was...
Can you imagine we hadn't have getting the winner?
It was up there. It was up there, mate. Thanks, everybody, for watching this one. Give us your opinion on this one and comment below. Do you want to see referees mic'd up?
Have we got any refs that watch for? Like, see what they thought. Get the mic on.
Get a mic on. Thanks, everybody. See you later. Ta-ra.